Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. And today we are up to the tier 6 in the Carthaginians with the Iberian Rebels. So obviously in the last patch we got the massive changes to Hannibal, which obviously I've talked about already in my previous video, when we were looking at them with the Punic mercenaries. And the more and more I play the Carthaginians now, the more and more I'm really starting to enjoy them. They've been massively changed for the better, and now actually gone from being like the worst infantry to almost one of the best. So I've been playing them a bit, got through the Punic mercenaries, we did it on through a stream the other day, and yeah, now we're at the tier 6 with the Iberian Rebels. So I've not really got these guys fully upgraded yet, I've only upgraded their weapon, and I happen to carry over the Greaves from the previous unit, which gives that little bit of movement speed bonus. But so far I am pretty impressed with these guys, they certainly play out pretty nicely. So a few things to note, changes from the tier 5s are, you lose shield screen, which is a shame because they don't have a staggering missile block, 38, although that will improve when we get the shield, takes you to 44, so, you know, it's bearable, but without any other ability you're still going to suffer quite heavily in missile fire. But instead, you now get a charge, which is really nice, something the Punic mercenaries kind of lacked. It just helps get properly stuck into combat when you have a charge, and a 4-second duration as well, so it's a pretty decent charge. And they get a dash, which is nice, 20% movement speed, combined with force march, and combined with the fact that these actually have a pretty awesome base movement speed of 3.8, which obviously I've got with the upgraded Greaves, and it goes up to plus 8%, and we get another 4% from the body armor once we get it. Means these guys are seriously quick. You know, really quick, like one of the quickest units on the battlefield, so that is a real mark in their favour. And yeah, pretty good overall. They've not got amazing body armor, 120 base, but that goes up, we get plus 14 from that. A little bit from the helmet if I was to do that, and they've got a reasonable missile block chance with the shield and stuff, so not amazing armor, but they're still pretty decent. And obviously, not to mention the fact that we obviously add Portus is still a pretty great ability. Although one thing to note, I don't know how it's going to play out. Unlike Vengeance, if we flick over, say, to Germanicus, so we unlock Vengeance at tier 5 with Germanicus, and it immediately starts to get improvements through tiers 6 and 7. So we get the plus melee attack, more melee attack, and weapon damage up through tiers 6 and 7, which means Vengeance is beginning to accelerate ahead from Ad Portus, where if we go back to Hannibal, you see all you get is cooldown modifiers for Ad Portus, which, while useful because that sort of cooler shutdown is how it differs from Vengeance, we don't start getting any upgrades until we start to get to the higher tiers, to tier 8, which is kind of means that I think Vengeance is kind of, as we head into these tiers, is going to accelerate ahead of Ad Portus, whereas when it's tier 5, the Ad Portus is as good as, if not better than Vengeance, so it's going to be some interesting changes as that goes forwards. So other than that, I think that's about all there is to really say about them, so let's hop into battle and see how we get on with these guys. So, we are loading into battle with these Iberian Rebels. It's not too bad a map for these guys, relatively good amount of flexibility. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to go with them though. I guess logic says we should be pushing up the centre. Obviously with the fact we've lost that shield screen, you've got to be a little bit careful around archers, because they'll rack up quite a bit of damage against you, because you have no real way to avoid that fire. You don't have a testudo ability or anything like that to make you invulnerable to missile fire, so you've got to be a bit careful about standing in the open too much. Obviously, and if you're using force march as well, I think that lowers your missile block chance, which it does, so you can become quite vulnerable. But anyway, let's get moving. Spread out, we're going into disarray already. Got cavalry in the middle of us. So looks like we've got quite a few infantry pushing up to this centre line, which is good. And we shall do the same. We're mostly tier 5s by the looks of it on our team. It seems to be just us at tier 6. Oh, that's some friendly archers as well. Some barbarian archers, I think. Are they? Proven archers, yeah. Barbarian archers. They're not yet moving. Obviously, yeah, with the dash, we get 5.43 as a movement speed. That's off-road as well, so yeah, pretty good. And I mean, obviously, base just with force march on is 4.68. Again, it's all pretty high on the movement speed, just for a medium infantry unit, which is sort of comparable to some of the lighter Romans, and I think that's a pretty damn good movement speed, to be honest. So what have we got coming up the hill? Looks like to be mostly entirely hoplites. So let's come out of force march mode and try and assemble some slightly more preferable unit shapes. and start to push up. So we've got some enemy archers in at the bottom, and the light artillery seems to be largely firing into the forest, where our guys are getting stuck into those Romans. So let's push forwards. I'm worrying about these archers. It would be lovely if our cavalry could get them. So let's start to push this unit round. Maybe we can outflank these two here. Have a quick bit of a dash to get a bit of extra speed going. Come on, guys. In and around, in and around, in and around. Straight into the back. And I'm just going to go straight for Ad Portus and straight in with our consumables. Determination as well. That gives us a really good melee attack and everything ability. Exactly what we want. I'm not really in a position to commit my other units, to be honest. We're getting a good amount of damage on these guys. You can see as a comparable, we've done about 12,000 to their 2. I don't really want to be walking head first into an enemy unit of spearmen if I can help it. Or if they're going to turn like that, that'll present them with a nice opportunity. We'll use our charge to try and get in on them. Straight in with our abilities again. That's probably the best thing about Ad Portus is, because it's got that short cooldown, I really have no fear or worry about just using it. Like, when worrying about vengeance, you have to be careful to make sure you're using it at appropriate time, not to waste it or throw it away. Whereas this, you just really don't have to have any of those worries. So let's consider about getting our third unit somehow committed into this fight. Maybe around this way would be the best thing we can do. Having a bit of a harder time now, aren't we? We've got a determination has come back. Yeah, as I say, these abilities come back pretty quickly, so you can keep cycling them over. Oops, you should be doing that though. So let's get these units round, all the way round, wrap round, straight into the back of these guys if we can, and just get everyone on these now. These will collapse very quickly. I won't activate Ad Portus on these. Although I will use my determinations, because that gives plus 25% melee attack, which is quite significant, particularly as these guys don't have vast amounts of melee attack anyway. Let's use some of our infantry charge maybe to try and catch up with these guys, get stuck into the middle of them. Should do. Try and rack up a bit of damage on them. Those enemy archers took some casualties but are still alive. Okay, that's those thorax spearmen dead. Okay, so that's all that lot dead. How secure is our base? Seems to be okay. So let's pull back down here then. Get into some cover the rocks. Most of our units are still in a reasonable condition health-wise. So we've got these enemy Punic mercenaries here, who I would happily engage if we can get a clean line there. Hasdrubal Punic mercenaries as well. So maybe this is what we should be doing. It might create an opportunity for our cavalry, which is sort of circling like vultures, to get in on their archers anyway. So our best bet is to probably attack and attack.
Our base is under attack. Defend it.
Base is under attack. Should we send a unit back? Let's send Hannibal back. I think it probably will be fine. We've got some archers sat around there, but they're being capped up pretty quickly actually. So we do have to be careful. Let's get our unit round a little bit. If we can, and get in on the flanks. We'll just go straight in with determination, straight in with Ad Portus, and get stuck into the fight. Go with a shield bash strike.
The enemy base will soon be ours.
Gotta be a bit careful here. Well, we're being capped out by our war dogs. Looks like we're going to get a strike in them though. Archers are going for the shot, and it's reset. Awesome, good job, guys. Yes, we're beating these guys pretty convincingly. Have I remembered it? As long as you've got to remember, obviously, to toggle off forced march, which sometimes I forget because it no longer auto toggles off like it used to. So that's something you've got to try and remember to do. Otherwise, you lose 30%, I think, melee defense, which is kind of significant. How's old Hannibal getting on? Well, I'll get stuck straight into these dogs if I can. Turn force march off. Go for the charge. We don't get a lot of damage in the charge, but it gets us stuck into the fighting. Going straight in with Ad Portus, and then let's go for a shield bash. Good job, guys. Okay, over here things are going well. Most of the enemy dead. Looks like we're capping out their base. Back on with force march. Yeah, the flexibility these guys get with force march and everything is pretty awesome, to be honest. Keep that up. Looks like they might be about to rout. Push off those guys if we can. Get a pretty good amount of damage on them with that. Obviously we've still got Ad Portus activated. Finish off that last guy there.
The Iceni Queen.
Boudica dead. An enemy is lying on the floor. Can you stand up? Taking far more damage from our allies than we are from any enemies. Okay, so that is our base back being secure. Keep these guys moving up towards the enemy base, but it looks like we're going to get capped out. Nearly 3k aggression points. Seems to be, yeah, generally I'm finding that's pretty standard for these guys. They seem to get quite a good amount of aggression pretty easily. You can use the charge to gain a bit of ground because you get quite a movement speed bonus from that charge.
Quickly.
And cycled with the forced march and the dash. Pretty awesome. There we go, and we have the game. So hopefully you found that sort of a bit of an enjoyable and informative overview of what these guys are like. Yeah, tier 6s so far my favourites. The combination of the speed and relatively hard-hitting nature with the fact now how being ad portus how it is, and the fact that with this really short cooldown, I feel like you can activate it in every fight. Whatever I engage, be it a unit of archers or anything, I'm happy to activate ad portus because in 120 seconds, by the time the fight is over, the ability is nearly cycled back round to being ready anyway. So I'm happy to cycle it 3 if not 4 times per game. So yeah, I think it's that's kind of what makes it good. Where Vengeance with that 300-second cooldown, you have to be a lot more careful. So hopefully an interesting video. If you thought so, please give the video a like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content. And I shall see you all in the next video. Thanks, guys.